Hello, my name is Jesus Castropalvi. Today I'd like to talk about how you can prepare to play Popper Etude No. 7 for the 2020 All-State and All-Region auditions organized by the Texas Music Educators Association. I hope that this tutorial will be useful to you. Popper wrote his etude for didactic purposes. Etude No. 7 helps us develop bow distribution, legato over string crossings, and agility in thumb positions. There is also a bit of fun to be had with harmonics. Let's number the first measure of each line. There are 36 measures total. Now about the bow distribution. For this we need to agree on the bowings. Even if you decide on other bowings, the methodology that follows can make your work more effective. Here are the bowings that I recommend, and where they differ from the Stutch IMC edition prescribed by TMEA. By and large, these follow the Berliner edition. Measure 2, up bow on the downbeat, C sharp. Measure 6, up bow on the downbeat, A. Down bow on the third beat, D sharp. Measure 15, up bow on the downbeat, A. Measure 16, down bow on the third eighth note, D. Measure 17, up bow on the third eighth note, C natural. Measure 27, extend the down bow to include the first two eighth notes and up bow on the third eighth note, E flat. Measure 29, up bow on the downbeat, E. Measures 31 through 34, one bow per measure, starting up bow at measure 31. You'll see that the slurs are of irregular length. We'll need to know how many notes are in each bow so as to distribute our bow accordingly. Mark in your music how many eighth notes are in each bow. For example, write a small number 15 at the beginning of the first bow to indicate 15 eighth notes. You might use a color pencil so as to differentiate from your fingerings and measure numbers. This list shows the length of bows. We'll also want to know how the speed of a bow compares to that of the bows around it. For example, the first three bows have 15, 12, and 18 eighth notes respectively. This means that the third bow, measure 3, should be 1.5 times slower. The best time to set the bow speed is at the beginning of the bow. So you'll want to use a slower bow speed from the beginning of measure 3. Here I have highlighted the deviances to be aware of. Watch out especially for the numbers in bold in measures 3 and 9. On my music I wrote long at the beginning of these measures to remind me to start with a slow bow. After bow distribution, let's look at legato in string crossings. To maintain contact between the bow hair and several strings, we prepare the bow arm motion so that it is as continuous as possible. The elbow level needs to change before it is time to play on the new string. In other words, take the time to transition onto the new string from the old note or old group of notes, very much like anticipating position changes on the left side. Here is an example in measure 31. Note that the right hand fingers are relaxed so as to bridge the distance with the string. And now with more continuous gesture. Now let's discuss the left hand. I will suggest alternatives that you may consider if you feel that they are better suited to your hand or your ear and help you play more consistently. Each hand is different. The most important factor driving your choices of fingerings or bowings should be what is most comfortable to you, what enables you to convey your musical interpretation, and hence what makes you sound best. In measures 10 and 11, using the second finger on the third eighth note, E, will prevent a downward slide to D sharp. In measure 12, try thumb on the 5th and 11th eighth notes, D and B respectively. In measure 13, consider using a thumb, then 2 harmonic, and 3 for the first beat. Also, consider 1 and 3 for the last 2 eighth notes so as to be in place for the next measure. In measure 16, you can avoid 2 shifts by using 2 on the third eighth note, D, and again 2 on the 9th eighth note, B sharp. The fingerings I just mentioned are in the Bowings edition. Now, the following fingering alternatives are neither in IMC nor in Bowings. For measures 18, 19 and 20, the following will avoid slides over whole steps between the 4th and the 5th eighth notes. Note that if you start measure 20 on a second finger, F sharp, it makes it easier to reach the D sharp with the 4th finger. In measures 24 and 25, to me, it is not musically necessary to reach back for the 6th eighth notes, B's, in first position, to move up to 4th position 2 notes later. I recommend staying in position for the entire time and avoiding slides up and down. In measure 28, if you use a third finger on the 7th eighth note, E, this will match with standard arpeggio fingering patterns, and this saves you an extension. In measure 29, I find it easier to use 3 on the first note, so as to set the hand in the E arpeggio configuration, E, C sharp, A, E. This etude features half-step intervals leading to a thumb. To do that necessitates that you bring the thumb close to the last finger that plays to prepare for the next note, as you would come closer to your teammate to pass the baton in a relay. Here is an example in measure 5, where you will move the thumb closer to 2. So the thumb comes closer to 2 to prepare and connect the half step. Much of the challenge for the left hand is one of coordination. This can be addressed by practicing separate bows to clarify the timing of your shifts. Aim to shift in the old bow, meaning that you are taking the time to shift from the previous note and starting the next eighth note on the pitch. We call this an anticipated shift. It is very useful in fast music. It makes shift more discreet and the notes clearer to the ear. In addition to anticipating your shifts, be sure to lighten up your arm and hand. Using anticipated shifts with a lighter left arm and left hand will also help avoid slides, especially downward. Here's an example from measure 9. So you see that I am shifting during the old bow. The passage to the thumb position in measures 18 through 20 can be prepared using the following exercises. Remember to practice these exercises with slurs and also with separate bows to ensure that you are anticipating the shifts. Here is an exercise that can help you play measure 19. Then repeat. Now, to prepare the passage of the second finger. Which can also be played with separate bows. You notice that I slightly modified at the end. Now directly with the second finger. So and now a variant to prepare the placement of the first finger. Watch out for the perfect fourth. This exercise will help prepare measure 19. We go directly into the variant with the second finger. We can repeat this and play it with separate bows. Then and now with the placement of the first finger. Again, if I play with separate bows, it helps me ensure that I am shifting in the old bow, meaning before the beat. Now, this exercise can help prepare to play measure 20. It is very much the same type of exercise as the one for measure 19. Which then becomes, and now with the first finger, I suggest a tempo ranging from quarter equals 92 to 110. Naturally, fluctuations will and should occur as part of phrasing and breathing with the music. For example, take your time and do breathe at the end of measure 14. As always, slow practice will go a long way. Only increase the tempo very gradually so that your work will be most effective. Thanks for watching. I hope that this was useful to you. I'd like to thank my graduate assistant, Toon Kwok, and Michael Stringer of TMEA for their help and interest in realizing this tutorial. Good luck and be in touch!